पीडीए की तरफ से संयुक्त रूप से कार्रवाई की जा रही है। आप लोगों को अभी डिटेल्स है वो और लिखा पढ़ी में दे देंगे।
सर, पहले आपने पीडीए से बातचीत की, पीडीए के अधिकारियों ने क्या अवैध पाया यहाँ पर? क्या नक्शा नहीं है या गलत तरीके से बनाया गया?
पीडीए के हिसाब से यहाँ पर नक्शा पास नहीं हुआ है, इसीलिए आज यहाँ पर कार्रवाई की जा रही है।
ठीक।
Before initiating a bulldozer action, UP police raiding the residence of ATIQUE's AIDE in Lucknow. The police also took possession of weapons, an SUV, a supercar from his residence. As the bulldozer drive against aides of Atiq Ahmed is underway in Uttar Pradesh, BJP's Subrat Pathak, a parliamentarian, has sparked a big controversy, making a Vikas Dubey comparison. This MP saying that he won't be surprised if Atiq's car is overturned, hinting at the encounter that took place in the case of Vikas Dubey.
समाजवादी पार्टी को बुरा लगेगा, स्वाभाविक है। उत्तर प्रदेश में अपराधियों, माफियाओं को समाजवादी पार्टी ने पाला है, पोसा है, उनको बड़ा किया है, अतीक बनाया है, मुख्तार बनाया है, अरबों खरबों संपत्तियां पैदा कराई हैं। तो आप बताओ, मैं कुत्ता भी पालते हैं, मर जाता है, दर्द होता है कि नहीं होता है? ये माफिया बनेंगे, इनको नहीं दर्द होगा।
In his first address after Manish Sisodia's arrest, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal questioned the Prime Minister and the centre for putting two of his best ministers in jail, stating that there is no scam in Liquorgate.
के ऊपर केवल आम आदमी पार्टी को नहीं, पूरे देश को गर्व है। इन दोनों मंत्रियों ने पूरी दुनिया के अंदर देश का नाम रोशन किया है। सतेंद्र जैन जी ने प्राइमरी हेल्थ केयर में एक नया मॉडल दुनिया को दिया, मोहल्ला क्लिनिक का, जिसकी चर्चा पूरे दुनिया के अंदर हुई।
The Delhi Chief Minister further added that if Manish Sisodia joined the BJP, assuming that if he were to join the BJP, won't he be released? He asked if charges won't be withdrawn. He said all cases would be withdrawn if that were to happen. Kejriwal asserting that the issue wasn't corruption but to stop the work and send the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate after opposition.
आज अगर मनीष सिसोदिया जी बीजेपी ज्वाइन कर लें तो क्या वो कल उनकी रिहाई नहीं हो जाएगी? छूट जाएंगे, वो कल ही छूट जाएंगे, वो सारे मुकदमे सारे खत्म। आज अगर सतेंद्र जैन बीजेपी ज्वाइन कर ले तो सारे मुकदमे खत्म, कल वो जेल से बाहर आ जाएंगे। तो भ्रष्टाचार तो मुद्दा है ही नहीं, उनका मुद्दा तो काम रोकना है।
Meanwhile, former Bengaluru City Police Commissioner Bhaskar Rao quit the Aam Aadmi Party, which he joined a year ago. He's now joined the BJP. He said that there was no growth and transparency in the Aam Aadmi Party, adding that the party and his attempts to transform it had failed in Karnataka. Speaker of the Maharashtra Assembly, Rahul Narvekar, ordered inquiry into the statement made by Sanjay Raut, asking the inquiry to be completed in 2 days. The BJP had moved a breach of privilege motion against Sanjay Raut. Raut had allegedly called the Legislative Assembly members as thieves. Sources saying that the centre has suspended the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act license, or the FCRA license, of public policy think tank Centre for Policy Research, or CPR. After a major violent showdown in Amritsar, no FIR has yet been registered. Amritpal, meanwhile, was seen attending a pro-Khalistan event in Punjab. JP Nadda, the BJP chief, flagged off the Vijay Sankalp Yatra in Chamarajnagar in Polbound, Karnataka. Nadda announced that BJP would cover nearly 8,000 kilometers and would hold around 75 public meetings, 150 roadshows in the state ahead of the assembly elections. Some other stories from across the country now. A National Conference leader, Farooq Abdullah, lauded Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin, saying that the DMK had done a good job uniting the opposition, further stating that Stalin could run for the prime ministerial post in 2024.
Prime Ministerial aspirants like Ms. Mamata Banerjee, KCR, who couldn't make it.
Win the election, it will be at that time that they will decide who is the best man to lead this nation and to unite this nation together.
What are the chances for CM Stalin to become the PM?
Why not? Why can't he become the prime minister? Why not? What is wrong with that? Okay?
Yes, thank you.
DMK workers from Thiruvannamalai district brought a camel into the party headquarters as a gift for the 70th birthday celebrations that took place for the Chief Minister M.K. Stalin. Youth Congress protested against the hike in prices of commercial LPG cylinders and domestic LPG cylinders. Price of commercial LPG cylinders increased by 350 per unit and domestic LPG cylinders by 50 rupees per unit with immediate effect. The Karnataka government has agreed to provide an interim hike of 17% amid the massive indefinite strike staged. The Karnataka government will also form a committee to study repercussions of the new pension scheme and come up with a report within 2 months. Sarpanches of several villages on Wednesday staged a protest in Panchkula against the Haryana government's e-tender policy for developmental work in rural areas. Police were deployed in large numbers and barricades set up at the Panchkula-Chandigarh border as members of the Haryana Sarpanches Association, a body representing village heads, threatened to march towards Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar's residence. Huge unrest reported in Tamil Nadu's district of Tenkasi as Hindu groups were attacked by the police for conducting a rally. The Travidar Kalagam, a popular left outfit, had conducted a meeting 2 days ago when various Hindu groups conducted a rally against the meeting. During the rally, the Hindu groups were attacked by the police and were arrested for doing a sit-in protest inside a temple premises. A fire broke out at a factory located in North Delhi's Roshanara. According to the fire department, a fire call was received from the Jaipur Golden Transport Factory situated near a metro station. A total of 18 fire tenders were rushed to control the blaze. YSRTP chief Y. Sharmila alleged that BRS leaders vandalized the statue of former Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Rajshekhar in Changaon, Telangana. This comes a day after Sharmila, on completion of 3,800 kilometers of a Padayatra, erected a Y.S. Rajshekhar Reddy statue. The Directorate of Enforcement, or the ED, conducted raids at 12 locations across Kolkata today in connection with e-Nuggets gaming application case. As part of the raid, a house in South Kolkata's Bhawanipur was also searched by the agency. It's believed that the accused was cheating people through a mobile gaming application. Opposition MLAs in the Maharashtra Assembly protested over a range of issues, including the latest price hike of LPG cylinders outside the Vidhan Bhavan. The first hike in domestic cylinder prices since July 2022. The cooking gas price was raised by ₹50 per 14 kilogram cylinder. Today, the assembly session was adjourned for 10 minutes shortly after it began amid sloganeering. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates met Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia in Delhi. Both discussed India's G20 health priorities. Prime Minister Modi addressed the post-budget webinar on the theme of urban planning, development and sanitation today via video conferencing. The webinar, led by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, co-led by Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change. Prime Minister addressed the webinar on the theme of urban development, saying that India needed to make circular economy the basis of urban development, which as much as 75% waste are getting processed, adding that industries needed to use waste management to the fullest and that used water could be treated to make it useful for industrial use.
भारत में अर्बन डेवलपमेंट के दो प्रमुख पक्ष हैं। नए शहरों का विकास और पुराने शहरों में पुरानी व्यवस्थाओं का आधुनिकीकरण। इसी विजन को सामने रखते हुए हमारी सरकार ने हर बजट में अर्बन डेवलपमेंट को बहुत महत्व दिया है।
Telangana Congress Chief Revanth Reddy began addressing the large gathering during the Haath Se Haath Jodo Padayatra. Eggs and tomatoes were hurled at the Congress State President and MP Revanth Reddy. The Congress claims that this attack on Revanth was done at the behest of BRS supporters. Sculptures believed to be thousands of years old were found in the Balesa area of Doda, Jammu and Kashmir. Locals from the village found these stone sculptures 10 feet deep underground while excavating for a water source. The Air Intelligence Unit of the Customs Department seized 1,065 grams of gold valued at about 49 lakh rupees from a passenger travelling from Kuwait at the Kochi airport. 4 capsules of gold concealed inside the passenger's body were recovered and seized. The passenger has been arrested. A man allegedly stabbed a woman to death after she refused to marry him. The victim, identified as Leela, lived in Bengaluru. The accused has been arrested. Further probe underway. A large crowd gathered to participate in a program organized in Chennai for the 70th birthday celebrations of MK Stalin. That program continues as we speak. Opposition leaders, including National Conference Chief Farooq Abdullah, Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge, they are in Chennai to participate. The Mumbai police detained Congress leaders protesting against Gautam Adani outside NSC in Mumbai. Congress leaders staged a protest against the alleged financial fraud and corruption by the Adani group. Jailed businessman Sukesh Chandrasekhar filed a complaint to Delhi Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena, claiming that CCTV footage of his cell were being leaked and circulated online, amounting to a security breach. Getting in more details now, India has clarified its stand on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, reaffirming Prime Minister Modi's statement that this isn't an era of war. Speaking at a special briefing on G20 foreign ministers meeting, the foreign secretary said that India's position on Russia-Ukraine conflict will be an important point of discussion during the meeting. A 32-year-old Indian national was shot dead by the Australian police after he allegedly stabbed a cleaner and threatened police officers with a knife. The Indian national was identified as Mohammad Rahmatullah Syed Ahmed, while the Indian Consulate General in Australia said that he was from Tamil Nadu and was living in Auburn on a bridging visa. A passenger train and an oncoming freight train collided in a fiery wreck in northern Greece, killing 26 people, injuring at least 85. Multiple cars derailed and at least 3 burst into flames after the collision. The evacuation process was underway when the last report came in. Hundreds of Iranian girls were poisoned in a bid to stop them from going to schools. None of the girls have died, but dozens have suffered respiratory problems, nausea, dizziness, fatigue. Reports saying that close to 700 of them have been poisoned since November. Reports saying that the act also being seen as an attempt to take revenge for the role that these young women played in recent protests against the mandatory hijab in Iran. The Federal Bureau of Investigation Director Christopher Wray confirmed that the COVID-19 pandemic originated from a lab incident in China's Wuhan. The development came after new intelligence had prompted the Energy Department to conclude that an accidental laboratory leak in China was the most likely cause of the COVID pandemic. Meanwhile, China has again rejected the theory. Election officials declared ruling party candidate Bola TINUBU the winner of Nigeria's presidential election on the 1st of March, with the 2 leading opposition candidates already demanding a revote in Australia's most populous nation. Outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari congratulated his successor, said he is the best person for the job.
I take this opportunity also again to appeal to my fellow contestants to let us team up together. It is the only nation we have. It is one.
Israelis stepped up protests against a contentious government plan to overhaul the judicial system. Large demonstrations and road closures took place across Israel. Protesters blocked the main highway between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem early today, halting rush hour traffic for almost an hour. China accused the European Union of abusing the concept of national security following the European Parliament's announcement that it would ban China's video sharing app TikTok from staff devices. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken wrapped up a brief tour of Central Asia and Uzbekistan before heading to India for what is expected to be a contentious Ukraine-dominated meeting of foreign ministers from the group of 20. Blinken met senior Uzbek officials in Tashkent a day after warning his counterparts from all 5 Central Asian nations about the dangers posed by Russia's war in Ukraine.
Really pleased to be here. Pleased for the day that we had yesterday, both on a bilateral basis, but also, of course, with our C5+1 colleagues. And I agree with you. I think there was a tremendous sense of both common challenge and common purpose among the C5+1 countries.
South Koreans gathered at a prison in Seoul to celebrate 104 years since the country's independence movement against Japanese colonial rule. The Independence Movement Day commemorated the 1st of March 1919 when a series of demonstrations took place across Korea, rallying for independence from Japanese occupation. Getting in more news now from the world of sports, spinner ASHWIN claimed that the top spot among bowlers after taking 6 wickets in his most recent performance in India's victory over Australia in the second test, with Anderson dropping to second place after England's loss to New Zealand. Labuschagne and Usman Khawaja put Australia in the driver's seat after they took the visitors way past 150 at the end of day in the third test against India in the 4-match series in Indore. The hosts resumed the innings at 84 for 7. India under-17 men's national team put on a rousing performance to defeat host Qatar 17 in the second of the 2 friendly games of the Aspire Academy in Doha. The win helped India secure its passage to the AFC Under-17 Asian Cup final rounds to be held later this year. Hockey India congratulated the Indian men's and women's hockey team's goalkeepers PR Srijesh and Savita on receiving the Sports Star Aces 2023 award. PR Srijesh was named Sportsman of the Year for his outstanding performance in 2022, which saw the Indian team finish third in the FIH Hockey Pro League 21-22, followed by a silver medal at the Birmingham Commonwealth Games 22. Australian David John, along with BJ Karyappa and Shivendra Singh, will serve as India's men's hockey team interim coaches after Graham Reid stepped down as the national head coach following the FIH Hockey World Cup. Now, physiologist David John served as the high-performance director for Hockey India. He's acknowledged as having a big impact on Indian team's ability to acquire the required levels of fitness prior to the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. 24-year-old American Chase McQueen won the Super League Triathlon Arena Games men's title in Montreal, Canada. South African Henry Schumann pushed him all the way before finishing second, while the British newcomer Jack Stanton Stock won the day's first stage and then finished third overall. Charlie McAvoy scored at 4:55 of overtime to give the Boston a 4-3 win over the Calgary Flames, extending the Bruins' winning streak to 8 games. Italian Matteo Berrettini reached the second round of the Mexican Open when Slovak Alex Molcan retired on Wednesday night at the Princess Mundo Imperial in Acapulco. Now the Italian will face Sweden's Elias Ymer next. Former number 3 ranked and 2020 US Open champion Dominic Thiem has continued to struggle on clay courts in South America as he worked his way back from right wrist and abdominal injuries. The 29-year-old Austrian lost to Christian Garin on Tuesday in the first round of the Chile Open, his third consecutive tournament on clay. Foden's brace took Manchester City to a 3-0 victory over second-tier Bristol City as the FA Cup holders moved into the 6th round. Foden struck in the 7th minute, but it was not an entirely comfortable night for Pep Guardiola's team until the England forward made it 2-0 in the 74th minute.